Can somebody, do we have music? Do we have audio? Please.
Sing Poker.
Of course. We need an applause for this guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the best song in 2008. Lady Gaga, Poker Face.
Thank you. My name is Hirsch Anand, and I have a question. A lot of people I work with, they ask me many times, how do I define my purpose in life? I know what mine is, but some people don't know. So what journey did you go through to find out what your purpose is, and then are you applying that purpose in what you do every single day?
Okay. First of all, I think we've misinterpreted the way we think about purpose because of the Matrix movie. Remember Matrix? Yes. Keep the mic. Remember the Matrix movie?
Absolutely.
Remember the first scene? One of the first scenes, he's I think it's like very late at night, and he's falling asleep. This guy, no, he's not Neo. He's at that point he's Neo. No? So he's on the keyboards, and then something goes up on the. Remember that?
Yes, a message. Yeah.
What was the message? Remember that?
To meet somewhere, was it something like that? To escape, or do you want to know real life or something, or?
But it's something like wake up, Neo. No, remember that?
Yeah.
Wake up, Neo. Like and from the top, they tell him you were the chosen one. And he's waking up and he's like, fuck yeah, I'm the chosen one. And you get that sense in the movie, like you're feeling, right? And then you go out and then everything after that, everything is just a different life, right? And people are waiting for that moment. People are waiting for the moment of something magical, not from inside them, but actually from outside, tells them you are the chosen one. And because that moment does not appear in your life, you lose the sense of purpose. So the way I think about this is you're not finding purpose, you're building purpose. You're building your own purpose. Now, the second thing I'd like to tell you is there's no one only purpose in life. When I was in my consulting company, in my real estate consulting company, my purpose was building better cities for Latin America. That's the way I defined it, right? And as I exited my company, I realized that was the purpose of my first company. That's not my life's purpose. And as I started doing my second venture, I realized that my real motivation is behind empowering or potenciar, we call it in Spanish, which is pushing entrepreneurs forward. So I'm on my journey to actually create 1 million entrepreneurs. That's my life's purpose. And I have this idea, this weird idea, which I get criticized a lot by the way. Because if something that you've seen today, heard today, or if you see it later in a video or in a program, whatever, if something helps you, you're in debt with me. And this is a very specific debt. You owe me $1, okay? But that dollar, you don't have to pay it now. You have to pay it in cash, by hand, to my sons in my grave the day I die.
I can't pay it in Bitcoin.
But so this is where I'm going. I believe that people that have found that sense of purpose understand that the real millionaires are not the guys that have $1 million in the bank. That's easy. It's actually helping 1 million people and changing the lives of 1 million people that really define the true millionaires of this era. And with the amount of technology we have, it can be done. So the thing I dream about is having the largest funeral in Mexican history. That's what I dream about. But now, if you think about this weird idea, nobody told me. I didn't wake up and suddenly found a billboard that was signaling me. I decided for myself, as I was continuing to pursue my different interests, areas of interest, I found which ones I like, and then I designed a monster so big that it seems impossible to take down. But because of the size of the dream I have, it is such an interesting life you get to live, because every day is a challenge. And that is a point where you actually realize that life is that. Life is always pursuing those challenges that seem so big that are impossible to finish, right? That's the way I feel. I was yesterday in Mexico with one of the boxers, most important Mexican boxers in history, Julio Cesar Chavez, which I don't know, maybe he was a fighter, big fighter in the 90s, right? We had a mentorship yesterday with him. And he earned something like $90 million in his career. And at that point in his life, he lost that high ground. He lost his ambition. He lost his next battle, right? And he started getting into cocaine, and he lost his life completely. Lost all his fortune. Had a horrible 10 years of his life. Lost his titles, lost everything. And then had to restart his life completely. And I'm thinking, why did that happen to him? Because he did not have that next mountain, right? Finding that purpose is not about finding that next mountain. It's about building that mountain yourself. It's about setting that expectations up by yourself. And when we expect less from the world, purpose-wise, I think we can actually be more ambitious and design that purpose ourselves. Now, I hope this can get to somewhere, but I think we're overestimating the Hollywood sense of purpose, and we need to start reevaluating the way we build purpose ourselves. We need to actually say that, and you need to get that big why on top of you for yourself. Because if you don't have that, if you don't get that for yourself, then there's going to be a point where you're going to lose everything because you've lost that big mountain on top. Hope that gets a sense of something.
Thank you so much. I feel like if I was there, or if you had a turban on, we'd be the same person because we have similar goals. You're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
How's it going?
I'm coming from Mexico, so everything's great, man. I'm flying in with tacos and tequila, man. So
I'm a university instructor, and I'm constantly mentoring kind of young, anywhere from 18 to say 24 is kind of like the range,
okay.
Right? And I'm always kind of trying to discover new ways to keep kind of a young audience engaged when it comes to deep information, because as I've grown in my profession, there's a depth that we always have to try to get to. And sometimes it's not always like the sexy thing to show somebody, but it's something that's necessary in warming them up and leading them into that sort of direction. I'm kind of curious what you'd have to say as far as advice on that.
So this is a great question, actually, because I feel the same way. I think of myself as a teacher, and it's very hard when you try to translate like business concepts myself. So let me give you an idea. Let me use the board here. Now, you know the human mind. You know how everybody tells you it's the most powerful computer in the. You know how that phrase? It's the most powerful machine. Now, it's interesting because when you want something to go into your long-term memory. Like this is today, right? This is where we're living today. And you want something to get in that long-term memory, right? Like say 19, how old are you?
30.
30. So let's say like 15 years ago would be what, 2005? Somebody give me a song from 2005 around? All right.
I don't know, let's say like Lady Gaga, Poker Face.
All right. What year is Poker Face, by the way?
It was probably around 2008 or 2009, something like that.
Can you sing a little bit about that for the video?
Poker Face, poker face.
So it's interesting. I mean, Poker Face, 2008, that's, I don't know, 10, 13 years ago. Now, 3 days ago, we were Friday, it was Tuesday. What shirt were you wearing?
Black V-neck.
You always wear black? Yeah, you fucked me with that. But it's amazing. My point was, it's amazing how we don't remember things 3 days before, and you can actually remember things 30, 20 years before.
Sure.
Now, why can some things go into that long-term memory and they're completely useless?
Right.
Right? So I'm thinking, why? And this happens to me a lot. Like when I drink, I like to put a Spotify playlist, which is called the best one-hit wonders of all time. You should do that. I mean, these guys did one song and then completely, but you listen to the song and your mind knows it. You can even sing the songs. You're like, how can I fucking remember a song 20 years ago and I cannot remember something I had in a class 3 days ago?
Yeah.
And that is because the mind, 40% of your mental bandwidth is used up on consuming video image.
Sure.
So if my mind would let everything through my long-term memory, it would get soaked up just in processing all the amount of video I had to process. So what the mind does, it creates a blockade. It protects the long-term memory. So what I want you to imagine is that there is a channel from the short-term memory to the long-term memory. And this is a tunnel, okay? So the tunnel is guarded by some kids, okay? And these kids are 5-8-year-old kids who are actually guarding the tunnel that goes through. Now, when the kids feel emotion, right? That powers a little cart that moves information from the channel to the other place. So it is a sense of emotion that actually changes the short-term memory into a long-term memory. Now, the fact that you remember Poker Face is because it was tied up to something very emotional in your life at that point. Sure. Probably you don't remember it consciously, but subconsciously, there is something tied up there. Now, the interesting part of this equation is if I need emotional commitment in my information, how can I add emotion to the way I'm teaching? How can I add emotion to the way I'm bringing concepts, right? So the way I do it is I try to incorporate specific emotion into the way I'm teaching. Now, the way I'm going to step up, please. So I have my cameras here. Come here. Okay. Can somebody, do we have music? Do we have audio?
Yeah, we got a DJ.
We have DJ? Can you put Poker Face? Yeah. Okay. So this is what we're going to do.
Sure.
Please.
Sing Poker Face.
Of course. We need an applause for this guy. If this is just a conversation and I give you this explanation, this is shit. 3 days from now, you don't remember. Now, the fact that we have a video and you're gonna sing Poker Face with me,
I'm gonna feel this moment.
and the fact that I'm gonna post this and it's gonna get to 100,000 views.
All right, cool.
This is gonna change everything, and this is what's gonna drill down, and this is what the kids inside the tunnel are gonna take it to the long term.
Okay.
Okay. So you're gonna say something emotional.
Where's the karaoke, the lyrics?
No, don't worry about the karaoke. You need to give an intro of the Poker Face. Why is Poker Face emotional? And then when he gives you the intro, you shout out the song, and we can get some 15 seconds there. Is that good?
Sure. So give
the intro. Like say, this is the best song in the fucking world, Poker Face, because blah blah blah, and then we throw the music in that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the best song in 2008. Lady Gaga, Poker Face.
But then you have to sing it. You have to sing a little bit. Give a round of applause for this guy. Thank you, my man. Great stuff. Now, thank you. Now, again, if this was a rational response, I could have just told him something very rational and that's it. I could have closed down the window. But again, that would have never allowed me to cross that tunnel into the long-term memory. And I know this would not, it's going to make sense to you at some point when you understand this. And this is when you're going to understand the importance of getting emotional in the content you're creating. Now this is very important, two things. First of all, teaching. You need to incorporate emotion when you're teaching. That's the only way you can actually be a good speaker. And second, if you want to do viral content, the only way you can do viral content for social media is if there's actually a very strong emotional pull. Like this was not very strong emotional. Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, it was, but it's something like really extraordinary emotion-wise needs to happen for this to be viral. And that's where people don't want to cross the line. Everybody tells me, how did you get 1 million followers on Instagram? You have to cross that line. There's a line where your comfort zone is, right? And when you start doing stuff, you have to cross that line. And now that's V1, remember? So don't step over that line and don't live over that line, because you're going to be, it's not entertainment. You have to come back and give value. Because if it's only entertainment, you're not making business, right? So cross the line, do your V1s, and then come back and do your V2s and give value, and then sell. But always start thinking on your V1s, on your virality. Who else has a question?
Graham. So I have